Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in the world. We are once again on the Scepter the Green. And today, it's not a big day. It seems it's a fairly normal day. And Katja has been occupying herself, trying to keep herself out of the some of the dramas that seem to be going on Sept at the minute. She doesn't really know enough to be getting involved, so she's been busying herself down at the forge, trying to get a handle on and improve her skills with the metalwork. Today she's probably been just playing with some of the wire and bending it, working out better ways for framing and making inlays and details for things. But yeah, she'll just be there bending and fiddling and just trying to make different tools work and trying to get different effects. But yeah.
William White has been actually seeking out Katja. After having a conversation with his pack, he thought that he would, seek her out and do some efforts to get to know her and suss her out. And also, there is an upcoming mission that he would. She was quite helpful last time we did something like this in providing information through her various contacts. So yeah, he would begin looking around the sept for her, asking kin, and eventually he will find her at the forge, and yeah, the door will darken, and Will walk in.
At the shadow blocking the light, she will look up and see William, and she will put the bit of metal she's working on into the water, make it safe, and put her tools down, and she will drop her head and say, Oath of Silence, Raya.
Will gestures for her to, lift her head up. Don't need to do that. It's fine. Yeah. How are you, Katja?
I'm okay. I've been keeping myself busy, trying to make myself useful, get this working. It was she'll just sort of gesture at the forge. It was a skill I was learning at home, but can't really claim to be very good at it yet.
I'm sure. Any many skills in the nation.
I know we have claws and teeth and what have you, but they are our most important weapons. But sometimes a knife, a dagger, they're still helpful.
I agree, totally. Do you have 5 minutes? I wanted to have a chat.
Yeah, sure. Let me just make this safe and we'll go outside. It's a bit hot, stuffy in here.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'll say I'll see you out there, and he'll just step outside.
She will, do her bits, tamp the fire down a bit and close it up, make sure it's safe, and then she will head outside, sort of brushing off her hands on her the apron guard thing, as she will take it off and just sort of sling it over like the back of a chair or table or something that's nearby. What can I help you with?
So we're raiding the Endron headquarters tonight. Hopefully destroy some equipment. Last time you gave us some pretty useful information. I was wondering if you could rustle up something for us as well.
The headquarters. I knew we need. People are talking about making a move soon. I can. We don't got a lot of time, but I can put my feelers out, see if anyone's heard anything. See if I can find another drunk, talkative office worker or something again.
That'd be great. It was really helpful last time. I also just wanted to say well done on the mission up in the northern woods. You fought really well. I was impressed.
Thanks. I was impressed by the Garo on Sept. It was. I can't claim to have been on a whole lot of missions, but the way that everything was destroyed and we were barely even touched. You and Tales of Gold Road, Chloe. Your leadership was impressive.
Will, raises an eyebrow.
Well,
Chloe's an Adrian. She's been, she's very competent. She's alpha of the alpha pack of the set, so, yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised with things I heard, but it is one thing to hear things, and it's still. As a Cleath, you say you'll be up for everything. You know what the missions are supposed to entail, and you know we're supposed to trust our leaders that will bring us back, but you know not everyone does. So being on a mission, seeing how people work, seeing how the orders are given and the strength of those who are leading you, it helps. And she'll just give a little shrug at that.
I'm glad. Would you care to join us on the mission tonight? I think we don't want too large a group, but I think there'll be a place if you want it.
If you think I'll be useful, I'll help as long as I'm happy to come.
I won't be leading the mission. Likely that will go to Teresa. She's been a foster much longer than me.
That's fair. I'll turn up, see who you have. If you think you can use me and I'm not going to slow you down, then he said, we're Endron. This threat is one I'd like to be able to strike against, but
definitely. So, how are you finding things on set? They've been a little calm in the last couple of weeks.
Yes and no. I don't think I was expected to be called on as a Philodox quite as much. With so many Garu here, I was surprised at the weight that they would give to my voice. That has been more difficult than I expected it to be.
Well, I think I have some, at least some part of the overburden of duties the Philodox has been having.
I wouldn't say it's an overburden. We have our responsibilities and we need to do things, but I think, well, Jacob doesn't seem to be, Raya doesn't seem to be surprised, and he seems to keep a clear head. But it's challenging. It's good. I guess it's just I've not been a Cleath very long. It seems like a lot. And the weight that your words have, it's something to get used to. I know I don't do everything right. I actually wanted to not apologize to you because it's not an apology, but I'm aware perhaps that I did not do my duty as well as I could have done in the challenge between you and Aiden.
You don't have to. I was angry at first, but I was fooled as well, and I think it would be fairly hypocritical of me to criticize others for not acting correctly. So no hard feelings.
Thanks. That's pretty understanding of you.
I'm not always a terrible child of Gaia. Sometimes I try to be an average one.
You'll get a little bit of a smile at that.
Now, Seb's been difficult recently. The pack's been at each other. There's all sorts of stupid politics going on. Well, it's not stupid. There's obviously been the tribal stuff between the pure tribes and the Get and the Fianna. I wanted to ask you about something about that, actually. I heard through the grapevine that you said something along the lines of, at one point, that if the pure tribes were strong enough, then they would have kept their cairns or something. I'm not here to argue with you or start a fight. I simply just wanted to see exactly what you meant.
You seem a lot more worldly, perhaps, than me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I hear that you were not in. You didn't grow up in the nation. Is that correct?
First I knew about being a werewolf was waking up after my first change. And even then I didn't believe it for quite a long time.
I am the reverse. I always knew. And I am trying to break away to an extent from where I am from. But where I am from was not a nice mixing pot like this. It is not all the different Garu supposedly working together or trying at least to work together. We were mostly one tribe, one or two others. We were relatively isolated. We had our cairn to protect, but nothing like this. And they have their views, and perhaps what I said was somewhat in ignorance. They view things from an isolated and point of view. And that is the point of view they held.
When you say us, seeing as what you said and knowing where you're from, I'm guessing Fenrir, right?
Yes. Don't get me wrong, I have so much respect where I was from. They are strong. They are powerful. They had so much. But being here, I'm also becoming aware of what they don't have and some of what they lack.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for the Ghetto Fenris. One of them was my den father. And I found them to be, I think firm but fair is a bit of an understatement, but I think sums up the general attitude. This certainly feels like they respect strength and they don't have time from dalliance from that, which I understand. We're in the middle of a war, but I think it takes another kind of courage and strength to admit when you were wrong, admit when you were on the wrong side of something, and to have the strength and the confidence to try and see things from other people's point of view.
I I am coming to see that, and it's easy to hold a position of strength. It's easy to hold your ideas when anything that would challenge it is far away across an ocean. You can acknowledge it, pay lip service, but you never have to actually deal with any of it.
Regarding what happened to the pure tribes and how they get, and I think to an extent the Fianna feel about it, there's an element of I think they want them to get over it, to get on with it, to stop dwelling in the past. And two of the Garu that are dearest and closest to me are from them. And I know they don't see it that way. They don't see it as something that happened in the past and doesn't happen anymore. Their lands that they were given steward overship by Gaia still don't belong to them. When was the last time you saw a Native American on an American TV show? It was only up until recently in Canada that their people were given full rights as citizens. No matter how you feel about the culture you've come from, and it's a culture I came from as well, we have to acknowledge that Europeans coming to North America, no matter what else, was not a good thing for Gaia.
That's fair.
And as much as we want to say if they weren't strong enough to protect their cairns, then they don't deserve to have them. You know, it wasn't the Fenrir and the Fianna and the Shadow Lords and all the other tribes that came here and kicked them out solely. It was the people, it was the humans, you know, sending their kinfolk away, putting their kin in reservations. Just because you're a victim doesn't mean you're not strong. And the anger that the Wendigo especially feel at what happened is still very real for them and still exists. It's not anger over what happened a long time ago, it's anger over what's still happening now. And it took me a while to understand that. Because I said something similar the first time we talked about this. I said, shouldn't we just put it in the past? And, shouldn't we fight for Gaia? And it takes you a long time to understand how they feel. And Will kind of shrugs. I'm not here to give you a lecture or a morality thing. I just think if you're interested in understanding about how other people see things, then I think this might be a useful one for you. and it's one that not many other Garu feel care to try, I think.
It's, by your own words, it's a complex one. It's Garu, like, things that are in front of them they can fight, because as you said, there's a whole mess that involves the humans, which we don't have any control over. Some people like to pretend that we can do some things to them, but what we can do is so limited that if you try and face it and accept it's something that we had a part in and we should fix, we have no way to fight it. And Garu were meant to fight. What do you do with something you can't fight? I mean, I appreciate your words, and I will think on them. I hadn't, as you said, to me, it was something that was before, like, bad shit's happen, but we need to survive and do things now. But
Absolutely, but I think the thing to remember is people often ask the Wendigo to justify why they're angry, instead of looking at and just accepting it. They are angry. Their anger doesn't have to be justified for it to be real. We know that about rage and the anger. You know, I may be in our room, but you're a Thylalos. You're not too far away from the hate and rage that Luna gives us. You must feel it. And I think that it doesn't have to be a case of dismissing their anger because of it may not seem justified from your point of view. You just accept it's there. And yeah.
that's actually kind of fair to a degree. I mean, that's yeah. I think that's something we. I mean, it's not just them, is it? We all have different things we've held on to that we're angry about.
Yeah.
But the thing that worries me, and it wasn't a concern I really had, I suppose, until I was here and saw everyone trying to get on and trying to achieve things, and the level of threat that is here is that when how easy it is for these things to just take over and seemingly, well, decept at the minute and has been. And I mean, you say it's calmed down a bit, but how quickly it all derails everything. We can be trying to do one thing and suddenly we're at each other's throats again.
Yep.
I had it easy before.
No, you're absolutely right though. And I have a big responsibility in that. Your auspice has a duty to try and get the nation running smoothly, provide justice and mediation. But my tribe does as well. And I failed in that because I was angry and because peace and cooperation cannot exist without justice. There needs to be, because it's not a case of saying, well, their anger isn't justified, so let's not appease it. I was angry and I couldn't help that. I was very angry. I'd been insulted, I'd been humiliated, so had my sisters. And it didn't matter whether Aiden was right or wrong. I was angry, and that needed to be resolved. Now, I think the problem was it wasn't resolved fast enough. Aiden made no effort to appreciate that and attempt to make reparations. And it ended up coming to blows, and I think the important job of the Fowler Dogs, and to on a more tribal level, the Children of Gaia, is to nip these things in the bud, as it were. And yeah.
That's a fair thing to level. As Philodoxes on the set, we were perhaps slow to react. Sometimes when things like the intertribal stuff goes along or interpacts, it can be hard because unless things breach the litany, the judgment to where to get involved can get very messy.
I mean, you say you were slow to react, but ultimately this got stopped before it came to anything serious. I mean, I know what I did with Aiden was a little extreme, but he's okay. No one's been killed because we were given an opportunity to vent. Justice was done, and when justice is done, people think it's fair.
Agreed.
You know, people will, and it's not hard for you. It is hard for you because you may feel like you're escalating the situation if the Philolox suddenly step in and everything becomes super serious. But this could have got a lot more worse. We could have had the Seekers and the Children of the Spirit Wilds attacking each other or frenzying. You know, that's the reality of it. You can say people just need to act well, but Garu can't control ourselves. And there needs to be things in place to help that stop. Me included. I'm not very good at this sort of thing. And I should be better. But yeah.
You are very honest for Araya.
Am I? Well, looks a bit awkward. What do you mean?
You are very open, talking, giving me advice, but also highlighting or at least pointing out where you have failed too and discussing it. And I am not someone of your pack. I'm not someone you know well. I am just a player, but you are still taking the time to explain things that would also make you perhaps seem weaker or to your detriment.
Well,
Not
shrugs.
even if we are not Geta Fenris, strength and rank and are important to much of the nation. Those people above us rarely want to seem weak or foolish to those beneath them.
Do you remember the Geta Fenris Aryan that came on the mission with us?
Yes.
She wasn't, in my opinion, very well behaved on that mission. And we had a rather more violent discussion about her behavior when she came back to Sept. And she said something to me that I thought was interesting. She said she thought it was amusing that her child of Gaia was teaching a Geta Fenris to fight. And I think she meant that as an insult, implying that my tribe are not one of the renowned warrior tribes of the nation, which is true. But she, in essence, questioned my martial prowess. Now, I am happy to admit when I'm wrong. At least I hope I am. And I think being humble is important. And I also admit I'm not the greatest warrior of the nation. I'm not even the greatest warrior on the Sept by a long shot. But I showed her that I might be a child of Gaia, and she might be a Geta Fenris. But I showed her no unequal terms, that doesn't mean I'm a pushover. And I think showing weakness is a wrong way to describe when you're talking honestly about your failings. If you know what you're not good at, then pretending that you are good at it is delusional and it's a form of weakness. Don't you think?
She sort of like studies you for a minute. That's I hadn't considered thinking of it that way.
Your weaknesses are only weaknesses if you make them. You know, I used to be alpha of my pack, and I showed that I probably wasn't best suited for that. And I don't see that as a weakness. I see that as me accepting something about myself and not imposing it on others. You know, maybe in the future I'll lead, and I think I've proven that I'm at least acceptable in leading combat missions, but I'm hot-headed, I'm angry, I do things sometimes without thinking, despite what you're saying now, and that's not what a leader needs, so I step down from the position. And I don't think that's a weakness. I think it was the right thing to do, and my pack's stronger for it, and my pack is stronger for it.
Katya will actually smile at you at this point. You're right. There is definitely a strength to that.
Sorry, I've been bending your ear for a while now.
Don't apologize. Sorry if I've gone quiet. You've given me a lot to think about.
I'll let you get back to your blacksmithing, but come to the assembly hall tonight. It'd be good to fight again. And if you want to make yourself useful, well, the more Garu we can get on this mission, the better, I imagine.
I'll just finish up what I've got here, and then I'll head out into the city, see if I can bend anyone's ears.
That'd be great.
Get any info. I can't make any promises. The headquarters has been a bit more challenging in the past when I've tried to get any information on it, but I will we'll see what we can do. I'll definitely.
If you don't, you don't, and that's no problem.
I'll be there later to let you know what I find. But I'll fight by your side again. I'd be happy if I can come and see if we can do a bit of damage to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Put those that anger to some good use for a change, hey?
Will smiles at that. Yeah. All right, I'll be off. See you around, Katya.
Thank you. I'll see you later, and thanks for looking me out.
Will smiles and wanders off.
And I think, yeah, Katya will head back into the forge with a kind of bit of a thoughtful look on her face. And with that, I think we can end our scene.